Hi, I'm Chris.
And I'm Dave.
And this is Two Old Skeletons Talking.
Also known as Toast, and we are in Seattle, Washington.
Although right now we're westbound on 405, just passing Factoria, or on our left, Bellevue, and we're heading up into the mountains. So Dave.
Yeah.
What's the subject for today?
The subject for the day is favorite movies.
Interesting.
Yeah. Here's what I like to do. I'd like to talk about your top 3 movies, and we're going to alternate. We're going to go back and forth. And we're going to start with your number 1, and then we'll talk about my number 1. And then we'll do your number 7. No, we'll do your number... You get the idea. Okay.
I do.
All right. You begin with your number 1 movie and why, what you like about it.
Okay. I can't do it that way. Because basically...
What?
Yeah, because luckily for me, you picked 3. But I have 3 movies that are my top movies interchangeably.
That's
depending
totally acceptable.
On, okay.
So give me one of your 3.
Apocalypse Now.
Yeah. Charlie don't do no surfing.
Charlie don't surf.
Charlie
it's just
don't
that
surf,
simple.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. And obviously there's some great performances in it, and it's a really gritty movie, good cinematography, a pretty straight ahead story that's easy to follow and yet is couched in so much weirdness.
A lot of that movie was kind of improvised, wasn't it? Or at least for Marlon Brando, right?
Yes and no. There were script pages, and he did sort of what he used to do a lot, which was have his pages printed up really large, and then he would paste them around the set. So if you see him sort of looking off to the side, he's actually looking at his script pages, but it just looks like he's being real thoughtful. There's an interesting documentary called Hearts of Darkness, I believe, which is a documentary about the making of it, which is mostly footage that Coppola's wife shot and recordings. So it's an interesting window into the making of that movie, which was tough. It was
there's all kind of insane things, like Martin Sheen cutting his hand open and just all these really bizarre things happening.
Yeah, and I think actually Martin Sheen had a heart attack during the filming of it.
Yeah.
So that's one. All right.
I do have a favorite movie of all time. My favorite movie of all time is an obscure little movie called Local Hero. Have you ever seen it?
You've told me about it. I've seen parts of it.
Yeah, and almost anybody that I have tried to get watch it is usually just bored to tears, you know? But it stars Peter Riegert.
Right.
And just an awesome performance by who's the guy who was in Field of Dreams, played the doctor?
I've never seen Field of Dreams.
What? You've never? Oh,
I know.
That's like got to be number 4 of my 3 movies, right? Burt Lancaster.
Oh, okay.
And he's so great. And he's just so natural and so relaxed, and he's just hilarious. And I mean, the plot of the movie is super simple. It's this Texas oil guy who has been sent to go buy up this Scottish island so they can put a refinery there. Right. So they know that he's come to buy this thing, and they want to get the best price possible, right? Okay. And then from there, things just kind of get quirky, and I'm 100% all about quirky, right? Yeah. Quirky. And so, and it's little bizarre touches that you have to see. Like there's this one character who's a marine biologist who's trying to stop it because she knows what's going on, but she's been lied to, and she thinks that they're there to build a marine research center there, right? Okay. You know? But at one little point, she's sort of out in the water, and she's talking to another character, and she dives down, and just a flash of a second, you can see that she has a mermaid tail, right? You know? Oh. And it just has no part of the story, right? You know? Wow. It's just sort of quirky, you know? Yeah. And anyway, I won't ruin the story for you, but essentially, this dude sort of falls in love with the town and sort of has a crisis of conscience, and it just sort of goes on from there. But I just love it. It's just really relaxing, and the music is from Mark Knopfler, and I love Mark Knopfler's music. And so I just have a handful of movies I can watch over and over again. Yeah. And I think I've watched that movie probably like 60 times, and I own it, and it's my comfort food of movies. Yeah. You know, if I had a hard day or something, I'll just pop it in and watch it again and laugh at the same points every single time. And so Local Hero, starring Peter Riegert. So that's what's going on, and I'm going to pass that back to you.
All right. So another one of my favorite movies, Blade Runner.
Yeah, it's in my top 3 too.
Oh,
so
there
we're
we
going to
go.
share that one.
All right. So Blade Runner, and I think probably, again, this is a little time dependent, the age we were when it came out.
Yeah.
And I remember it did not do very well in the theaters. I didn't see it in the theater. I saw it eventually on VHS. But again, really good acting. I totally had a crush on Sean Young.
Who didn't? Right.
Yeah, right. Here's the thing. I have to disagree with most of the people that were involved in the movie. I prefer the version with the voiceover.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't really have a preference one way or another. Director's cut, not director's cut, voiceover, not voiceover. I mean, I think in the end, what sells that movie is the performances, right?
Yeah.
Rutger Hauer, just genius, and Harrison Ford, just amazing performances.
Yep.
And the cinematography, the world that they created, and that was the thing, is that sort of dystopian world was really sort of popular around that time, late '80s or whenever it was, right?
But most of the time, it was done so badly.
Yeah, done really badly. And this one just had so much texture and layer, and just the rain and the noise and the massive signs and the flying police cars, and it was just like such a complete vision, right?
Yeah, no, you bought the reality
Right.
of it.
And you can tell the story different ways. You can cut it. You can decide whether they made it or whatever. It doesn't matter. It was just the reality of that world, right? You know? And then just his reticence to do his job, and just a great story. So, all right. Since you took one of my top 3, I'm going to do my number 2, and then I'll do an honorable mention.
Okay.
I love the movie, and this is kind of a guilty pleasure. So I Married an Axe Murderer, right? With
Mike Myers.
Mike Myers.
Yeah.
Tony LaPaglia, I think, plays Mike Myers' buddy, who's a cop, right?
Yeah.
And whose biggest problem is he just thinks his job's not adventurous enough, and he goes to Alan Arkin, who plays his boss, and says, why can't you be one of those mean cops, like, on TV and stuff? And he's like, well, all right, well, I'll try, like, why can't you threaten to report me to commissioner? It's like, well, I don't really work for commissioner. I kind of work for a quorum. A quorum, Captain, you're killing me, right?
Yeah.
I love that movie. I just love it. Now, I remember I always thought it was sort of a big hit, popular movie. And I remember one time I was browsing through a bookstore, and I pulled out a book that said 60 worst movies of all time, and right on the cover was So I Married an Axe Murderer. I'm like, no!
Sorry. That's
so
funny.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care.
You love it anyway.
I'm proud of it. I love it anyway.
Yeah.
All right, you go.
Okay, so my third movie is To Live and Die in L.A.
Yeah, no, I remember that.
Which is just a fantastic movie, and I think one of the big reasons I like it is because the sound design is so phenomenal.
It is. It really is. And I remember the lighting on that particular movie was really phenomenal lighting. Yeah, really good cinematography and a compelling story.
Right, compelling story, fantastic performances by Willem Dafoe and William Peterson, and super gritty.
Yeah.
And we showed it to Will just before he went off to college, and like 3 minutes in, there's that sort of second intro of the movie when the sunrise is coming up, and he was like, whoa, hashtag aesthetic.
Okay.
Which it is. It's William Friedkin with A Return to Form. He's the guy that did The French Connection, which has an amazing car chase through Manhattan, and this has an amazing car chase on the freeways of LA.
Very stylistic, though.
Yeah, so I really like the performances. I like the style of the movie. I like the danger of it. Because dangerous things happen suddenly in that movie.
Yeah, no, it's a compelling, intense movie. I've actually only ever watched it once, and that's when it was in the big theaters. And so, but I do remember it, and that's saying something, right?
Yeah.
So
here's something
I remember what I ate for breakfast today. So
yeah, I'm going back and forth on whether to spoil it or not. But the movie's been out 20 some years.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go ahead and spoil it.
You spoil it.
Right.
Man.
So the spoiler is, I also respected the hell out of it from the get-go. Not see it coming, because you just don't expect that to happen.
Yeah, totally.
And so I just was like, oh my God, I love everything about this movie.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, to your honorable mention.
Well, my honorable mention is very similar to your movie, in that it takes place in L.A. That's
Okay.
about it. My honorable mention is L.A. Story with Steve Martin. I mean, I don't have a lot to say about this movie other than it fits all my categories. Lighthearted comedy, quirky, bizarre, right? Dude is having sort of a midlife crisis and gets helped by a LA traffic reader board, right? His car breaks down and the LA reader board starts giving him advice, right? And it's kind of a love story between Steve and the person who was actually his wife at the time. There's just some really beautiful moments in it, in what's a totally fluff film, right?
Yeah.
But there's like one moment where they're walking through a garden, right? And they're just starting to fall in love. And the whole movie just shifts, just becomes a different movie, right? Becomes a blurry lens, and they kind of walk past a tree and they come out the other side as little kids, you know, in these big clothing, holding hands. And it was just like, for just kind of a stupid story, it was just such a beautiful moment. And there's these really series of nice, beautiful moments, right, in that film. And Steve Martin is always just 100% wonderful, you know?
Yeah.
And I love Steve Martin as an actor. He really puts a lot of effort in. He doesn't get a lot of credit like most comedian turned actors, right? He doesn't get credit for the good work that he really does. And,
the way that he can really lean into drama.
Yeah. So, all right.
When Mai and I were both working at Intiman, we're in our mid-20s, and she and I both started going out with different people in LA. And yet we saw each other in Seattle all the time. And we started to get interested in each other, but we're both going out with other people in LA. And so we're like, oh, LA Stories is out. Oh gosh, we should go see that together. Because we're both, you know, it's like totally sleazy back into a date kind of thing. So we went and saw the movie together at Oak Tree Cinemas. And then afterwards, neither one of us really want to go right home. Yeah. So we like bought a coconut at the Trader Joe's up there because, you know, I had tools in my trunk, so I was able to open the coconut with stuff I just had in the trunk, and we just ate the coconut. And then we both were kind of like, okay, see you later, bye. And then in the next 24 hours separately, we both ended up driving to the same place on Alki and just parking the car and saying, I wish he was with me right now, or I wish he was with me right now. I know.
Sweet. Oh.
I didn't know that until a few months later when we actually got rid of our LA entanglements and got serious about it.
That's a good story.
Yeah.
That's nice. Well, let's just end it on that one. I think
I like that.
Okay. All right.
So that's it. That's
all there
favorite
is to
movies. Later.
Bye.
Hey, it's Chris. Thanks for watching our episode, everybody. We hope you liked it. And if you liked it, please subscribe. Also, if you'd like to see some outtakes and behind the scenes, you can support us and check them out at patreon.com/2oldskeletons. Thank you again. Be safe.